This is a story about us, Bea and Joel.
It is inspired by how I came to spend this past Christmas on a beach with Bea from Verde por Dentro.
I've been wanting to tell this story for a while, but in the rush of life, I've never really felt that I was able to dedicate the time needed to tell it. For me, the story starts way back in the beginning of 2020. Bea and I met in Tijuana through a friend and fellow traveller whose name is Charlie Sinawan. She wanted some travel buddies and to do some collaborations together. Being a fellow van lifer, the sight of a van like mine was both jarring and interesting. Just as for me, the idea of a solo female van lifer was of equal curiosity. So we made plans to travel the Baja Peninsula in a caravan. It was 2 vans, Bea, Keegan, me and anybody we found along the way. All was great until after our panels were destroyed in the great solar panel accident that started the screwball that was 2020. Bea was evidently forced into a vacant position as the Route del Sol translator. I honestly don't know how this situation would have panned out without the help of Bea. With tragedy striking, like any good team does, we decided to head back north together. With Bea's help translating, we were able to resolve our situation to a point of security and set up base at the Lost in Baja headquarters in Ensenada. This was to try to get back on the road as soon as possible. Well, it was then that the universe had decided for us some rather different plans than what we were used to. With another tragedy hitting, the world heading into a global pandemic, we were stuck in Ensenada. Both foreigners with no place to be other than where we were. We spent 7 months living in our friend's driveway, wondering if the travel life we chose would find its way back to our schedules. In hindsight, I guess I can see that this was another fork in the road moment. I was well and truly stuck with my van broken and no pathway to repair in sight. But Bea, not so much. She had a small window of opportunity to make tracks with a momentary travel window opening up for her. We were both sick of the north, and like any traveller would in this situation, we had itchy feet and wanted to head south on some adventures to get some kilometres under our wheels. With my van broken, I couldn't go, so as the kind-hearted soul Bea is, she invited me along on the journey. Of course I accepted. It was just as the doctor ordered. Empty, socially distanced Baja in all of its glory.
Boring as batshit, you people make me feel so curious, and I don't know why. You think you'll end up in the sky, happy as Larry and riding sheep on clouds. Well, I prefer your enthusiasm while you're here with me. So stop, don't get carried away, darling. Don't you understand that every time we wave our hands we're cool, we're fucking amazing. We dropped down from some other dimension just to be with you. Don't stress, that's dumb, I'm here.
Something about this situation wasn't right though. Amongst the beauty and majesty of Baja, California, I think there was a lot of undealt with stresses bubbling to the surface. And in particular, for me, the one thing missing in all of this, well, it was my van.
Finding it very difficult to exist in this situation. Not in this physical situation, but more in this mental situation. Not to get everyone to say boo-hoo, poor Joel, but it hasn't been the best 6 months of my life. Let's say that. Or has it? Maybe it has been the best 6 months of my life and I just need some hindsight to show me that it has been. I wish that I could snap my fingers and just be better, be a better human and be the person I need to be. Things aren't really going to plan and I don't feel as happy or healthy about the way that it all seems to be going down. That's the funny thing about life, you just never know whether you're in the best or the worst situation ever. I think there's been a lot of times in my life where I've been like, this is definitely the worst situation ever. But then when I look back at it on hindsight, I'm like, well, actually that happened for a reason and it led to me doing all of these other great things. Maybe that's what this is right now. Maybe it's just a stepping stone or a moment in our lives where we just have to learn about ourselves and take that from this experience, and maybe it will turn out to be the best 6 months of my life, because I'll have learned something about myself, and I'll have learned to overcome things and be a better human. It's important to not forget about yourself. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'm going to show you all the sunset that I'm watching now.
This is where the fork in the road became a reality for us two seasoned travellers. I just couldn't let go of my dream, and I had to return back to Ensenada to try and make that happen again. There was a comfort in leaving to pursue my dreams again. It felt like I was writing my own story. However, as anyone who chooses the road knows, that sometimes we have to leave friends we've made to continue to write their own stories as well. I did my best. I was writing my story with as much force as I possibly could, but 4 months later, I still hadn't been able to finish the job at hand. It turns out that building a solar-powered van during a pandemic in Mexico isn't so simple after all. Meanwhile, Bea had been killing it. Verde por Dentro reached over 100,000 subs on YouTube, and she'd been spending the rather cold months up in the north of the country, down there in another version of warm paradise. Until one day I received a message from Bea. "Hey, want to come snorkeling with me at Cabo Pulmo Beach Resort for Christmas?" To which I swiftly replied, "Yeah." So I jumped on a plane and Bea picked me up at the airport in Cabo. Before I knew it, I was in paradise again, hanging out with a super cool girl doing super awesome stuff. As much as there's comfort in writing your own story independently, also there's a comfort in writing a story with another human being. Bea and I have an innate ability to talk for hours and hours about the most elaborate things that we have and don't have in common. We certainly didn't grow up speaking the same languages, but through the experiences of life, we found a common language with which we can communicate. It's a language greater than words. It's the language of the world and all of its treasures which we observe while we're out here searching. Then came the time to part ways again. As I got on the plane, I remember having these thoughts in my head. Life is unpredictable, especially a life on the road as a traveller. We have to cherish these moments we get to share with those who are special and have shown us the greatest kindnesses. Because although for whatever reasons we can't always be in the places we want to be in, with the people we want to be in them with, we can always remember the times that we were and hope that tomorrow we'll find those places and those people again. To be able to once again write our stories together. I then got off the plane to a flat tire.
It's completely flat.
Happy 1st of January. I guess that was the perfect reminder of the unpredictable nature of life on the road, taken directly from my parting thoughts just hours before it all happened.
Just to be with you, don't stress. I'm here and it's nice to be alive. Chill out, it's alright. Kiss me, it's nice to be alive. It's nice to be alive. It's nice to be alive.
Bea, thanks for being the brightness the world needs in such a dark and gloomy time. You're an inspiration to so many, and I'm sure that when I speak on behalf of all the inspired, they will also agree that you deserve all the happiness your heart could desire. One day, when the travel gods arrange it, we'll cross paths again. Hopefully with less COVID and on a warm beach with a margarita in hand.